welcome to the next episode of the Beach Court podcast. We've got a stacked episode for you this weekend. We also have a stacked guest that won a cup this weekend, and we'll talk about that a little bit. We've got a lot of championship tournaments to catch up on since we've last met. So, got Puerto Rico, Stockholm, Bogota, Santiago, Thailand. We'll give our thoughts on those, look at the top eight a little bit. And of course, we'll discuss the LA regional championships that are happening this weekend. Kind of give you what we would play if we were going to the tournament. We have to get into the gym leader versus trader again because that went so well last time. Hopefully, maybe Mags can contribute a little bit more this episode.
Whoa, geez. It's been like 45 seconds. I'm already getting called out.
That's
It's
just
worse
how
than
it
that
goes,
one
man.
thumbnail. Geez.
Oh,
We will talk about our updated Ace Spec tier list. There is some more Ace Specs coming out in this set, as well as our August special set. So we will give you our updated Ace Spec tier list, and we'll run through some Twilight Masquerade decks and what we think the best Ace Spec is for those decks. Last but not least, we have to talk about international championships because they're coming up. We'll dive deeper into them our next episode, but we do want to just kind of run through the schedule of what it looks like, give our viewers a sense of what they can expect that week so they can kind of plan ahead a little bit. Ladies and gents, how was your weekend?
it was pretty good. Saturday I was just traveling, and Sunday came home and finally got to play in one of my local cups.
I know, right? You didn't have to
Yeah,
run the cup. That's kind of wild. It was
yeah,
at your own store.
no, it wasn't the head judge or TO this time.
How'd you make that work?
So our assistant manager Blake became a TO, and we had um another fella, Chris, who's a good friend of the podcast, judge the cup, and
Nice.
as a result, I got to play.
That's pretty cool.
And Parker Greenwald, how did you do today on that cup? Getting
Uh,
back into the game after some time off at his home store, comes home with the W.
yeah. So I ended up conceding finals to a homie that needed world's points, but yeah. I played a proverbial final against one of the other people in top four and won
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Shout
So
out Thomas. I mean, he's one of our locals that's kind of come to the scene and been playing pretty well. So congratulations on that run for you too, bud.
yeah, he's been killing it.
Yeah, man, I know him and his brother. They've both been kind of involved in the game, and it's really nice to see people come to the game and flock and have fun together. And
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
I know Parker. You didn't have a chance to beat up on me and Maddox. I'm sorry for that. We kind of had to skip out on that because we were testing for NAIC on Friday
Oh,
and
makes
Saturday so hard.
sense.
We needed to kind of
Hmm.
sleep a little bit on Sunday, and
Yeah.
I don't know what Maddox did the rest of the day after that. Probably
I, I
slept
got
all
I got to
day.
say, listen, I mean, I probably had like 16 hours of like testing in between Friday and Saturday. So for Sunday, just having a day off to like completely not like
Yeah,
touch the Pokemon cards at all and just like watch a little bit of finals of Santiago and just kind of like chilled and relaxed. It's good. I mean, and for everyone else out there, right? Like it's okay to spend a lot of time on the game. It's also okay to like take that break and say like, hey, I
absolutely.
need a day to decompress and to do chores and do laundry and sleep. These are all
Chores.
good things that adults
Right.
should do, and that juniors and seniors should also do. Help your parents with your laundry; they'll love it. But like, but for real, like, I
Make
mean,
sure you're
the
getting
balance
some
is
chore
good.
money for that, though.
Yeah.
And
Nah,
No,
ten
that
dollars
that's
an
wasn't.
hour.
Nah, there's no chore money in that. It's do it or you don't have clean clothes. But for real, I mean, like I know Eric and I were spending a lot of time working this past weekend, testing some of the new decks, building out some of the decks finally.
Yeah.
Really wide meta, so a lot to test and kind of overwhelming. But it's also good that if you there's a deck that you like, even in its current standard, or maybe a deck that's kind of come back, like Miraidon's a little bit back on the rise, Lugia is a little better than it's been before. Or if you like some other new decks, there's a lot of new ones to enjoy. So
Yeah.
it's a good time to be hopping into the game and definitely lots of tournaments to look forward to and be excited for, which I know we're going to talk a bit about later.
Yeah. I mean, we
course.
definitely had a busy, fun weekend, Maddox, and we had Abby and Jackson and Phil and Chris all came over Friday, and we were
And
here till
Mitch, the
midnight.
boy.
Oh, and Mitch was here for a little bit. Yeah. Shout out Mitch doing the master's program. Everyone was kind of over, and we were just testing and having some food and cooked out. May or may not have burned down my fence a little bit. But
Cooking
that
too much in the
What?
kitchen.
we were we were
Watch
we were cooking.
You were cooking for sure.
We
setting
were
fire.
we were setting the fire. But yeah, like it was crazy because I think Maddox, I told you like our goal should be by the end of last week try to get down to 5 decks, and I think we're still struggling to do that. Like the meta's very wide.
Well, Eric just walked up to me today. It's like, hey, can you run a quick game? I have this deck I want to try. I'm like, bro, what? Like, where did this come from?
Oh yeah. I mean, so the meta is very wide, but let's focus on the current meta where we are today before we focus on new cards. Parker, you won the cup this weekend. What did you decide to play, and why did you choose to play it?
So I went with Ancient Box, and I was leaving up like controls are like not towards list purely. It's just like just plays the Lecky, Turo, Airy, Palpad, and you can just like infinitely loop that against Lax and stuff. But I was like, if I run into Lax in best of one, that's probably just an auto tie. So I was like, let me just play something like Ancient Box is like kind of fun. So I was like, sure, let's go with that. And round one, I ended up playing against Snorlax, and I was like, what do I do? And I thought about it for a second. I was like, if I just bench 4 Flutter Mains and 2 Moons, like I don't think I can lose. And unfortunately, I couldn't do that because he had turn one Erica, and I had Great Tusk in hand. So that messed with the
Millen.
plan a little bit, but I did mill a few times. Nothing really that good, but got some cards out of his deck. But I ended up just winning because um like he would kept like there's nothing really he could counter catcher, so it was like he was like counter catcher a Flutter Main, and I would just retreat it because it shuts off the Snorlax. Um but yeah, and then round two, Chen Pao. Uh Opponent Ultra Balled away a candy early that really punished him later in the game. Because I was kind of breaking out of my mind. I was literally like, draw, Pokestop, and be like, Flutter Main, Koraidon, Fighting Energy, pass, and like, literally nothing going for like a bit. But I ended up crawling back and winning that. Round three was Goldango. We also kind of like went back and forth like awkwardly, and I'd like Koraidon attack for 90. It was like
Yikes.
winning me the game. Um, Round four, I played against my friend. He was on the Lost Zone deck with Groudon in it. It's
Mm.
like super cool actually, but I ended up winning that. He didn't have the greatest hand either. And then I drew round five. Top four was matched against Zard, but like kind of to just speed up the cup, he was just like, you got it. And then finals, I was just like my friend who is like now like 12 points off his invite. I was just
There we
like, yeah,
go.
you got it too. So if he wins a cup or gets any points at the last two big events, he's got it. So hopefully he can pull through.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean,
Good guy, Parker.
Shitbox is
And
good. Yeah,
mhm. Yeah, I mean, you're just your point. Like Ancient Box, honestly, if I had made it yesterday, I probably would have played Ancient Box just because it's an incredibly fun deck to play. I'm finding. Just like again, sometimes if you have those awkward bricky starts that we all know, again, you're like, oh, let me hit a Pokestop. It's like Sada energy, and like, I can't really do anything there. But like once you eventually get rolling, and you're like, again, you're playing a single prize deck. You're just powering up your moons over and over again. It's fun and it really goes, and also has
Mhm.
some pretty good matchups like Goldango, Chen Pao. Like I think those are both pretty good matchups for the deck.
Yeah.
And even what's nice is that like even against things like Zard, like you have ways to win. You can hit those big numbers late in the game.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. No. I think that I've never played the Goldango matchup until then, but like having to use a superior to KO a one prizer is like pretty bad.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
pretty bad. Yeah, that's a lot of resources you have to commit to it. But yeah, congrats again. I mean, I know like you've been kind of grinding and getting back into it, so
Yeah.
looking forward to you hitting the ground running next season, hopefully. All right, well, let's jump into our next topics, which we've got a lot of tournaments to cover. For those of you that are listening on the podcast, Apple, Spotify, anything. I'm going to share my screen now, and we're going to talk about some results and kind of just give our thoughts on the meta as a whole of where it's been going. So first up on the docket is special event in Puerto Rico that happened on May 11th. Our friend and Floridian and here took it down with Jose Morero with Goldango, with the spicy Rever Room tech, something that
Dingus.
something that Abby and I explored in kind of the early days of Goldango. Definitely a good card. Rever Room lets you discard an energy from your hand and draw until you have 6 cards in your hand. So especially back when you had Roxanne Path, people kept hitting you with. It was a really good way to kind of get out of that. What do you think of this Goldango list, guys?
It's pretty saucy.
Yeah.
Honestly, I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, again, we're just one of those kind of solid gold angle, right? The Rev Room's not a card we see too much, but really cool to see it here. Jose, right? He's been playing a lot of cool off meta decks, right? He was doing Ting stuff for a little while,
Yep.
doing Goldango, and I mean, an incredibly skilled player. Just kind of said, hey, I want to play some of these fun decks. Had a day 2 finish with Goldango in Indianapolis, and then goes over to Puerto Rico. Fantastic folks over there and fantastic tournament. I know all 3 of us were there last year and had a blast.
Yeah.
Good.
And goes and takes down the whole thing with his deck and locked up his world's invite. So congrats to Jose there. And also, I mean, for anyone that's a Goldango enjoyer, right? Definitely a list to take a look at and pick up, right? Get a few games of it, just draw some cards, and yeah, you'll be having a good time. So definitely a fun list.
Yeah, the cheese man delivers.
The
We look at
cheese man delivers.
What?
Put that on a shirt. What?
I mean,
The
Abby
cheese
probably already
man.
has socks that say that, I'm sure.
The cheese man delivers.
Looking at the rest of the top 8, anything in the top 8 surprise you from we have Aiden Koos with Chen Pao. We got some pretty well-known players here that made top 8, made their way down to Puerto Rico to play. Anything else surprise you about this top 8?
Surprising? No, not really.
I think
Um,
main. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I like seeing Tina up there, but I mean, nothing too surprising. I guess the Sablezard a little bit, but like that's also just another good deck.
Yeah, I mean, Sablezard is just strong when you can get it going and stay out of the way of Iron Hands. Right. I think it's a good deck.
Yeah, I mean, disable Zard with the Iron Hands EX, right? Adds an extra different dimension to it. Really
Mhm.
strong. Even like a TM Crisis Punch. So lots of options here to just take, big swings and big attacks. So
Oh,
pretty cool to
definitely.
see things like that.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, just calling out the other few top decks. I got to give a quick shout out to Adam Knowles again, another Orlando, another Floridian, again showing up with the top 3. Big placement for him. So congratulations. No list on limit list, but we can reach out to him later if anyone's got questions. And also Michael Chen, again, great player.
Great
Showing up with
player.
Lost Box again. Been playing Lost Box a lot this season, and really, I really think one of the themes of this weekend in the past few tournaments has been just like the resurgence of Lost Box and just saying that, hey, here's a strong deck that if you can have the right pilot of it playing it perfectly and hitting all their pieces when they need it, again, really really high ceiling of what it can do. Michael Chen including here the Roaring Moon, Iron Hands, and Raikou, and the Hoopa, and a Mew EX, right? Like so many pieces here. Again, pretty much an answer for everything. Um,
Yeah.
couldn't quite bring it home, but again, just a good showing. And as we get to some of the other tournaments that happened over the past couple of weeks, right, a theme that I see in the top 8 is Lost Box coming back.
Yeah. I mean, Lost Box is a deck that's very rewarding to play when you do pull off the combos. I mean, you look at a list like this, it's very strong. And like you said, it has a lot of answers to everything. But you look across the board, you got one, 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 one. Like there's like so many one ofs. And in a
Mhm.
deck like this, like you could easily like ruin your day with the wrong flower selecting or some bad decisions that are not prize checking very well. So obviously Michael played it to perfection, and or close to perfection, and just lost to Goldingo in the finals. But sometimes they just hit the catcher Cologne play, and it just nothing you can do
Mhm.
about it. So, but yeah, congratulations to Jose for winning Puerto Rico. Let's move from one special event to the other that happened the next day in Bogota. These are both events that Max, you and I went to last year, and Parker, you went to Puerto Rico.
Yep.
If first, before we jump into kind of the results, if you can ever make your way to a special event in a different country or in a remote area, like do it. It's a lot of fun, and just you learn
Oh
a
yeah.
lot about culture. So
Yeah, not remote again. Bogota, or Puerto Rico, not remote
Not
areas,
remote. Yeah, yeah.
but just like a different country, especially the Latin America events, right? Such a passionate community there. So many great people that we met the times we were there, and also, I mean, lots of great food, lots of great times. I mean, just cool to go and explore these places. So, if it ever lines up for you in the future where you maybe need a few points, or you're looking for like an excuse for some international travel and want to play some Pokemon, I mean, definitely recommend a
Yeah.
lot of these different events. And I know even, we know some people going to South Africa for their special events later this month.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. We do know some people going to
So
South
there's big
Africa.
events there. Yeah, I mean, the two big winners on May 12th this Sunday, it's all about Snorlax.
Yeah, so we had two tournaments on May 12th that both had Snorlax as a winner. We'll get to the second one. The first one is the special event in Bogota. I mean, I guess they just go down to Bogota and take a little sleep and sit on people's table and block them from retreating, right? Uh, the,
Something
the,
like that.
the coolest thing we saw pop up over that weekend was the Sandshrew inclusion in the Snorlax list.
Hmm.
We heard a little bit of rumors about this coming. On Twitter vibes, people trying to like, hey, anyone got Sandshrew here in Europe? And a couple of crushing hammers in this list. The other list did not play the crushing hammers, I'm pretty sure. Um, be a couple crushing hammers just to kind of get rid of some energies, and Sandshrew, which says trainer cards in your opponent's discard pile can't be put into their deck by an effect of your opponent's item or supporter cards. The big thing this stops is Palpad and Team Yell's Cheer, both of them. So for decks like Tord's deck that played Palpad in the previous, and you don't have to find it, as well as Team Yell's Cheer to get around Erie getting rid of Palpad. This is kind of that full circle meta evolvement we're seeing. What do you guys think about the Sandshrew and Mantine inclusion in the Snorlax decks? Maddox, you first.
I mean, first off, for Sandshrew, right? Sandshrew Sandscreen ability when it came out in 151. Remember, the first thing people said when this card was released is, look, you have a way to stop control if you want. And now the control decks are playing the Sandshrews to help cover it, right? Again, your control deck, stall decks, famous for pal padding and putting back a lot of their supporters. But if no one's going to play it against them, then they're going to play it against you, right? Seeing a resurgence of like Palpad and Team Yell Cheers, especially with towards EUIC winning list. A lot of players, I mean, and we'll get to Stockholm in a second, right? Where a ton of top testing groups chose to play Snorlax. Sandshrew was a very common inclusion to stop that supporter recycling. And even stops things like Silene in the Chen Pao matchup. You can't you can't put your what is it? Yeah, wait, you trainer
Yeah,
cards.
trainer
You can't put a
cards.
trainer
Yeah,
card on top of that. I guess you could theoretically put an item, or no, you could put like a
Pokemon
Pokemon or an energy
Pokemon,
on top of the
or an
deck,
but not Prime
energy.
but
Catcher.
Silene would stop that, which is kind of funny. So I mean, again, I think a cool inclusion. As we see the more tech out lists, right, there becomes questions of how consistent is this. Only one Mimikyu in this list as opposed to some they're playing two, only one Rotom, so a little bit higher risk in this Bogota list compared to some of the other ones that we'll talk about in a second. But yeah, I mean, Sandshrew, hey, it's a way of just helping ensure your victory, really.
Yep. Parker, what stands out to you about this list?
Um, I saw that a lot of the Snorlax decks kind of shifted to like Chi-Yu because sometimes there comes a point where like just going counter catcher support or pass like doesn't get you there. So like
Especially in a best of one format.
oh yeah, especially in best of one. But outside of that, like I like this Sandshrew. Like it definitely helps into other control matchups, but like if both people are playing it, it's just like
I mean, so is this a card that we should be including in our list for NAIC now to stop control from doing their own pal pad?
um
No,
No. So
I
what's
mean,
your
if Dragapult didn't put 6 damage counters onto your bench, I would say perhaps.
Sandshrew has 60 HP for anyone listening along now.
oof? Yeah, we'll get to more of that next week. But from here, take a look at the rest of the results from the special event Bogota. We had Lost Tina making an appearance at second. Let's check the list. We got a list here. Anything spicy? Nope, just boring Lost Tina.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Mew EX a little
That's
spicy.
Mew
So shout
EX.
out.
Yeah, they
Well,
do have
I mean, again, like we got a lot of lists to talk through, so I'm fine moving along with it some. But I mean, hey, that is different than your normal team list.
that is a MUEX. Tina's good. Tina has 50-50 matchups across the board. Go for it. Play well, do your thing. We got Zards, got a couple Zards, got two Arc Tinas, we got an Ancient Box and another Lost Tina. So somewhat of a standard top eight, I would say there, outside of Snorlax winning it.
I think two Arctinas and top eight's kind of maybe a little bit
Yeah,
like
maybe. Yeah.
the list is sort of interesting. Yeah, they got fourth.
I mean, the Snorlax player going into top eight is probably like, God, I hope I don't hit the Arctina guys. Yeah, like that's probably very scary for them. But I don't know how the bracket finished out. But Snorlax, congratulations to Christian Jaramillo. Hopefully, I pronounced that correctly. Taking one down for your hometown. Good job. All right, moving on. Let's get to the regionals. Let's talk about the Stockholm Regional Championships, where an American player and their group went over there and took it down. Azul Garcia Griego gets his 7th regional win. I think this ties him for the record for the most wins. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think
Does
Pram is seven.
Yeah.
It
So,
ties him with Michael Pramwent for 7 regional wins, and as well as 2 this season, right after top 4 at Worlds. So just having an incredible season,
yeah.
without
Yeah,
a
So
doubt.
tearing it up, took it down with the Snorlax. He has a very similar list. No crushing hammers, 2 Rotom and 2 Mimikyu, which I think might be some of the only differences. I didn't like dissect each list, but yeah, just like valued the 2 Rotom, right? Just wanted to say, hey, oh, you Gus kid my Rotom. Well, here's another one. And I'm just gonna keep drawing cards and stalling you out every turn. What do you guys think about the 2 Rotom inclusion? Parker, you first.
I think it's definitely good because like sometimes you just don't have that Arvin for the heavy ball. So like if you prize it, you're not cooked.
Yeah.
You have more opportunities to find it, even just naturally find it off like a draw for turn or an Iono or something.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if the other list, I just saw this 4 penny.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah,
a lot of penny.
You gotta find
that's
it.
that's 4 cents.
That is 4 cents. I mean, this one had three, so okay,
Yeah,
just
that's
That's
only
three
three
cents.
cents. So
oh,
Azul's deck's worth more.
Azul's deck is worth more. Yes,
Yeah,
that is a true statement. It's worth $46.42 and 62 cents if you want to build this deck. You can do that.
please don't.
But yeah, I mean, just we knew control was good this format, and it was only going to be a matter of time before it got a really good finish or a really good group of players played the deck. Looking at the rest of the top eight, we unfortunately did not get the Tord versus Azul finals that we could have gotten.
I know.
It was so unfortunate. The bracket came out and everyone's like, yes, we're gonna get Tord versus Azul in the finals finally. But Hermione had other plans, took down
Micro Ninja
Tord in
went
top
in.
four. Um,
No Manaphy.
no Manaphy by Tord during this tournament, and it kind of
Hmm.
came back to
Mhm.
bite him in top four. Sometimes you make decisions like that, and you just hope to get some, matchups go your way, especially in a Chin Pao world. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we had Hermione make top four, got second place with Lost Zone Box. Tord got third with Pidgeot Control Zard. We'll take a look at that list here in a moment. John Ing got fourth at Chin Pao. Brent Tonneson, Lost Zone Box, fifth. Stian Nilsson, another Sablezard at six. Yuho making another top eight, having an incredible season as well.
Yeah.
Getting future hands, another good finish. And Fares Secom, Charizard Pidgeot also in top eight with Ryan Antonucci bubbling out with Snorlax.
They were the same lists. They're like one card
Hmm.
off, right? Oh
Yeah, I
yeah, they're
think
I
it
think
was
they're
same
the
one
same
list.
60.
same. I think they're part of the same group now.
They
Yeah,
were, yeah.
yeah. So, what do you think about the top eight here? Anything standing out to you? I mean, this is like a stacked top eight, right? Like those are like
Yeah.
household names.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you do if you make top eight? If you're someone that I don't know, sorry for these two names that I don't know, but Faris Secum, you're Faris Secum. You look at this top eight and you're like, Oh my God, I know everybody here.
I mean, you just say nod, win, and play your best Pokemon, right? I mean that's how it always is, right? And I mean, and especially like for these guys when you're playing well and you're feeling good, you can beat anyone. And
Yeah,
and and I'll bet if we look at some of these guys, they had to beat some pretty good folks to even be in this position
true.
as well.
That's
So,
very true.
but yeah, incredibly stacked top eight. Even with Stockholm being a very small regional, right, under 700 players, really cool to see the level of talent that is here and represented in the top eight. Again, again, so many household names from many different countries. So really, really cool to see all of them together. Yeah, I mean, Azul had pretty good matchups, kind of leading his way into finals. So, definitely
Yeah, I
some
did.
fortunate bracket luck there. And
Yeah.
then the rest kind of just, takes down itself sometimes.
Hit the
Anyone who
hit the
didn't,
five, hit the five off Misfortune Sisters in the
Oh
finals.
yeah. Oh
yeah,
my
just, I mean, just
God.
sometimes, again, and to everyone's point, right? Like, sometimes you're playing against that Chen Pao player, that Zard player, like, man, they just always have it. Sometimes you're playing against that Snorlax player named Azul GG, and they're like, man, he's just always got it, right? Like, some of that
Yeah.
there. Some luck there, right? Even the early Erie hits to hit the prime catcher in Juho against Juho in like
Against
top
you,
eight type
huh?
of thing like
Yeah.
that. Um,
Yeah.
but I mean, yeah, really, really cool top eight to see. Again, the big takeaway that I see, like we were talking about a little bit earlier with Michael Chen's list in Puerto Rico, is just the rise of Lost Box. Right, here's three Lost Box lists in the top eight. Again, with the stacked cast that we're talking about, where they say, "Hey, there's something here. This is a good deck right now."
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Lost Box is definitely on the rise. I agree with you, Maddox. Yeah, so something I also want to call out that we haven't said a lot this year, this person's name, but they made a top 16 appearance. So we got to take a look at the deck. Sander Wojak
Mhm.
is back at it with some more control. It's got Lipard. It kind of looks like a stall deck, but it's really not. It's got some attacking options in here with Entei V, some fire energies, and Mist to protect against the moons. So it's like more of a Pidgeot control build, but it's not the standard Pidgeot control with Wigglytuff that we're used to. He also included
Yeah.
the Sandshrew in this list.
Yeah.
What are your guys' thoughts on this list with the one picnic basic in the list? I mean, is that
Honest-
from Magma Basin, right? It has to be from Magma Basin.
Uh,
maybe you heal your opponent's like Gardevoir things or
Yeah,
yeah, I
against
think
Guard.
it
Oh,
was for
he
it
did
was
say that,
healing
right?
Drifloon, I
is it?
think.
Yeah, he
You
did
heal
say that.
Drifloons,
Yeah.
something like
Oh,
that.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, really cool to see Sander here with Alyssa again. Making another big appearance. It's kind of been a while for him, but a name that a lot of people know when it comes to control decks. Even though we have lots of top players picking up control these days, the big piece here is like the Lipard package with that trade ability, right? So similar to Refinement Curly, the main difference is Lipard has 100 HP, so you're not as weak to Greninja, things like that. So really
Yeah.
utilizing the combo of thinning your deck from potential disruption with Lipard, getting rid of the cards you don't need for the ones you do, plus the power of Quick Search. Again, in the way that a lot of Charizard decks are now playing up a barrel plus a Pidgeot, you have your barrel to draw 5 and your Pidgeot to grab the missing piece. In the same way, Sanders able to go, okay, I have a couple of, I keep wanting to say refinements, a couple of trades to find the cards that I need, and then Pidgeot to grab the missing piece. So, yeah, the NTV really interesting attacking option as well. When you talked about it, helps into the Lugia matchup type of thing. Was a way to target the Archeops and kind of slow them
Mm,
down from there.
yeah.
So I
Yeah.
mean, again, like just really cool list, really innovative Pidgeot control list. Something we've seen from him, and glad to see Sander with a nice finish here
Yeah.
after a little while.
Yeah, I'm happy to see him back. He's good for the game. So
Yeah.
keep coming back, Sander. We love your list. Two Rotom V. Still just drawing cards with Lipard, drawing cards with Rotom, just drawing a lot of cards. And you don't hear that in control much. So that's pretty good to see. Anything else to kind of stand out about Stockholm before we move on?
Um, Not particularly. Let's see. There's a Goldango in 14th.
We do
Hmm.
have a Goldango in 14th. This is true. Let's
Yeah,
take a
yeah.
look. Oh, with the 1/1 Bidoof. 1/1
Ooh.
Barrel. I like it.
Hmm.
And this was the again the guy who kind of originally put Gold Angle on the map after getting a second place at Dortmund Regionals back in February.
Oh,
Same
that's
Ah,
right.
guy.
Oh,
So
okay. That's right.
yeah.
another finish there. Again, just like really stacked players up here. And again, I think this meta is really defined right now by lots of decks can succeed, And ultimately, what we see as a key is, if players that are playing at the top of their ability or playing a deck that they know very, very well are seeing success.
Yeah, true.
So again, even here's a great example, right? Has been playing Goldango for a while, had the right run with it. Again, able to get another top 16 placement with a non-meta deck, as a lot of people would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
3 Codebreaker stands out to me. 1 Irida, 1 Iona, 1 Silene, 1 Turin.
hey, when you're playing Goldango, you just need you just grab the cards you need off the
You
top,
just,
right? It's
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just Silene back, Prime Catcher, and Superior.
oh, Silene too. Oh boy,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
cooking.
you got the Pal Pad to put the Silene back. You know, probably had some good control matchups over the weekend with this deck.
I don't know about that.
I mean,
One Silene, one Palpad,
and you
one
have
Turo.
Turo and Prime Catcher.
Okay, maybe. Okay, maybe.
That's a lot of switching outs, man.
Azul's group's lucky they dodged him.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
I mean, am I wrong? One, and they got the canceling clone for the Mimikyu.
And a retreat. Whoa.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
We're ignoring the fact they can just eerie away all your
Yeah,
superiors.
that doesn't never
Yeah.
happen. No, I'd
Yeah,
win.
not even once.
No, I'd win. All right, anything else fun here in day 2? Had some arc
we,
chart
we
cadets.
we talked a little bit about it, but just towards Charizard control list.
Yeah,
Again, a
let's
little
spend
bit
a moment
different
on
than
that.
again, and I think he might have played this tournament earlier, or some other folks did, but kind of went under the radar. Anyone who's not watching it, anyone who's not watching this, YouTube video, right? This is really just like you take a Pidgeot controlled deck and a Charizard deck, shuffle it together, and like keep half the cards in each, kind of, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Parker, I don't know what you think when you look at this, but that's kind of how I feel.
That's sort of what I thought too. Um, is this better than regular Zard? I don't know. I was watching a friend play it on Thursday, and I think he was kind of forcing the control aspect a little bit. But like I'm sure a lot of people go, "Oh, he opened Charmander. Let me bench
Yep.
all these things," and he
Yep.
like benches a different Pokemon. And like, oh my gosh, what is this?
Right. I mean, you got the Roseanne's backup in there.
Yeah, shuffle his energies back.
Well, gets your energy, gets your hero's cape, and gets a
Yeah,
Pokemon and what stadium, right?
Yeah,
stadium.
okay.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I was gonna say, is this the highest placing Roseanne's
Oh, I know
backup?
it's been around.
No,
Yeah,
there's
nah.
been someone else got there.
Alessandro Cremasoli, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, this year. Interesting deck. I mean, I don't know a lot about it. I haven't practiced against it much, but it is a good control deck that lets you get back all of your resources with Regieleki, attack with Luxray turn 2, get rid of Colress's from your opponent's hands. A lot of disruption. Pretty cool, fun, and innovative deck. And we always see Tor doing this,
Yeah.
finding fun ways to innovate on the cards and not just play the same old boring 60s, which is not bad. Nothing wrong with
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah, there's the two sides of Tord, right? There's the one that, is, creating those innovative, just consistent lists, like his Lugia list back when he won LAIC in 2022 or 2023.
Sword decks.
But like, and his EOIC list, which is a little more tech, but then there's also his, 1-1 Urshifu, 101 Inteleon,
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
35 one of deck he played right before rotation, and then now this, where it's like we're seeing both sides of him, and it's really cool to see, him as like an individual kind of deck builder, his own testing group in a way, just showing up here with these incredible lists and dominating with them. So it's really exciting to watch.
Yeah, it's very nice to see. So hopefully, maybe, if me and you, Max, can't make finals, maybe we'll get in Azul first toward finals and worlds. That'd be kind of cool.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on, we got a couple more to cover. I don't want to spend too much time on these. We've already spent a lot of time covering tournaments. We have regional Santiago that happened this weekend down in Brazil. What did I say that wrong? Chile. Sorry,
Chile.
Chile. I don't know my geography, guys. Go to
Uh,
school. Down in Chile.
Too much
Uh,
time playing cards, not enough time in geography
that's
class.
right.
Stay in school, kids.
Stay in school. The thing that stood out to me here, and we've said it's a deck that's kind of on people's radar. We got 2 Bayonet Guardies in top 8. Both I think pretty close to the same 60. And Turbo Lost Box ended up taking it down against the Arctina in the finals. But we got 3 Gardevoir decks here in top 8. That's pretty good. Gardevoir's kind of back, coming back. People are practicing for NAIC. What's going on here?
I don't know. Guardy's just pretty dang good.
Yeah.
I mean, what if you can survive the early turns and you're a good pilot, there's a pretty high chance that you can win the game despite a large prize deficits and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, also, I mean, just got to speak to like the Bayonet, and again, we have Vinny Fernandez, one of the great players in Latin America piloting this list. Again, he could pick up almost anything and make a top 8 run with it. And again, chose the Bayonet here, but pretty solid deck, and also surprisingly good matchup spread and just ability to deal some damage on your opponent. Again, item lock is always good here into a lot of decks, especially
Chen
early.
Pals.
In Chen Pao, right, is a big one. Yeah, and again, just Vinny, an incredible player, so no surprise to see him doing well with a less known deck. Do really quick want to call out Dalton's deck. It's not just a regular Arctina deck, right? This is including
Oh, that's
a
right.
Radiant Charizard, only a 1/1 Tina line. Really unique list to try to help cover some of the matchups and have that like one prize response option in the Radiant Charizard in the Magma Basin. Again, very, very tech list. Still the leaves for the Zard matchup, but really, really neat list. I saw him call it the arc salad. You got your little
Arc
lettuce.
salad.
You got your little lettuce with the grass energy. You got your little tomatoes with the fire energy. And you got some onions with the psychic,
Ah,
and something like that. So, or maybe
What's the
just because it
jet?
has
Is the jet
leaves.
like the crouton?
I don't know. Maybe that's how quick you
it's
toss the salad.
it's
Oh, it's because
ranch
you toss the
dressing.
salad,
Hey, hey,
maybe.
hey, Tay, what?
What's
So I
really
mean,
interesting about this list to me is not just the one ofs, it's the one of Buddy Poppin.
Yes,
I mean,
I
sir.
mean,
I think we've seen it a little bit before in Arc decks playing of a barrel, just as a Starbirth option
yeah,
to get your board set up a little wider.
yeah.
Or like if you just turn through your deck enough and like, hey, if you see it turn one, it's like, hey, we're chilling. We got two barrels out. Hard to
I,
find, but can Starbirth board in a pinch to get the board set up a little
I,
more.
I see they're playing the one card I've been saying that I don't know why Arctinas haven't been playing, and that's the Arvin to find the max belt when you need the max belt. So that's kind of cool. But I don't see any Sharon's Care here. Kind of surprising. I would think in a list like this that maybe you'd want one or two, just because it looks like you're trying to loop attacks with Arceus for a while. So maybe a Sharon's be kind of good there, but you don't have room
Sharon
for
doesn't
everything.
care.
Yeah, Sharon didn't care.
And Dalton didn't care and got second
Dalton
with it
didn't care.
anyways.
That's
Didn't.
exactly
So
right. Yeah. So I mean, congratulations, definitely innovative list, and people probably are like, what? We only have one Tina.
Oh,
Weird, probably weird, but yeah, it's a pretty cool list. I do want to shout out also the fourth place, not a spicy list or anything, but someone I've got to hang out with on Hell, down in um they're from Peru with he's friends with Carlos and
yeah,
that group. So I got to stay with them when I went to LAIC, and they're great people, and I'm glad to see him get a good finish. I know that group works very hard, and as
yeah,
long as you keep working hard, you get good finishes with your decks. So
exactly.
yeah.
And the Chen Pao, I know he's been playing that for a little while. It's just a solid deck.
yeah, I mean, ever since he switched off of Lost Tina, it seems like he's been doing a little better. So maybe some friends on this podcast could hear that and change up too.
As Eric
Oh,
likes to say, don't friends don't let friends select flowers. But
That's right.
if you're a Lost Box enjoyer out there, keep enjoying it because hey, it's doing pretty well at these tournaments lately.
Yeah, and so let's jump into that. I know we've got some Thailand that we could review. I don't want to spend too much time on that. They're in kind of a weird format where it's they have some
they
legal
have half
cards.
of yeah, they have half
Yeah.
of
Ursaluna.
I mean, the
the
only thing
set.
I'll call out from this, you just go to Ursaluna and click on it. They've had two tournaments in Thailand now. You just open all deck list under, Ursaluna, and just like look how many decks have Ursaluna in it that have done well. Because even these smaller tournaments, out west, we don't have a lot of data on them. So if you see this many decks with that card in it, kind of tells you how good that card is. I mean, even a Snorlax Stall played it.
Hey, okay, maybe we're cooking there a little bit. I'll look at that list later, but
Yeah.
for now, for now, we can move along.
I can move on. So let's talk about Los Angeles this weekend. We've got a big regional championship happening out West Coast. Boys, we're not going. Sadly, we don't need the points, and it costs the same amount to go to EUIC and LAIC as it does going to LA. So, kind of had to wager bets there. But, Maddox, what would you play if you were going to LA this weekend? What's the best play for the tournament? And what's the 60 that you would sleeve up?
Hmm. I mean, it's tough to say, right? Again, I think the key is if you're going to LA, and I think it depends on what your goals are, right? If you're looking for a fun deck to play, I'm really like an Ancient Box right now, just super fun to like churn through and do that. If you're someone who's going and you're saying, hey, I need my last few points, really whatever you've been spending the most time with, whether or not it's a great meta call, right? If you're saying, oh, Chen Pal's maybe a little harder because there's more Snorlax, oh, maybe more people be ready for Lost Box and playing their Jirachis, like probably whatever you are most comfortable with is going to be the strongest play. For me personally, like if you're saying, hey, I'm comfortable with anything, like my personal choices, I would just send probably as close to towards EUIC list as I could, saying, hey, we're gonna go back. We're almost to a full circle in the meta. Lost Box is good again. Let's keep the Jirachi. And right, Lax is good again. Let's throw the Team Yell Cheer back in. Let's try to stay super close to that. Zard is a little bit on the decline, so we'll kind of take our chances in the mirror and just try to know the matchup very well. And go from there. So that'd be what I'd personally send.
Parker, what about you?
Any meta deck except for Chen Pao.
Well,
Dang.
if you
I
had to pick
just
one, what's the best play?
you know me, I love Lost Tina.
Stop selecting
Um,
flowers.
Lost Tina's good.
I don't
It's the
know.
only thing that beats Zard consistently.
Yeah,
Maybe.
if they don't play Delphox.
No one plays
Um,
Delphox.
one person played Delphox, and I ran into that one person. Right.
Ah,
Um, but oh, I don't know. Ancient Box is good. Like it, like sometimes feels like you're bricking, but like you're not, kind of. And like I don't know. If you find Pokestop and like don't mill three Sadas off of it, like you can mill anything else except for the three Sadas. It's like okay.
yeah.
Like, and I think you got a shot against everything except like unless somebody plays Noivern or something like that. But I kind of like. I mean, I don't like the Snorlax matchup, but like when I thought of, hey, I could just bench four Flutter Mains and like I can always retreat out of the lock. Like this ain't too bad against Snorlax.
Yeah, I mean, the hard part I've found is like they're eerie attacking your Pal Pad and your Super Rods type of thing. And
Yeah,
eventually it's keeping up the energy is tough.
yeah.
Yeah.
Eric, what about you?
I
What are you
mean,
sleeving up?
I got the deck for you.
Oh no.
I've
It's
got
not Magnezone.
the deck for you. If you want to go out west, especially if you're coming from East Coast, you're gonna be a little tired, you don't want to think a lot. I got the deck for you. There's this guy. He's on this podcast. He's got this limitless page from London. It's a 63rd place list. I would just sleeve that deck up and play it. The deck beats control with the two psychics. The deck we're talking about is the deck that Max and I both played, Future Hands, 2 EUIC. I'd play this to tell LA if I was going this weekend. There's no doubt in my mind. Um, Lost Box is kind of on the rise a little bit, and you can just kind of run over them a little bit in the beginning, right?
Definitely.
And Lugia is still kind of doing some Lugia things, and Charizard's on the decline a little bit. So, like with those kind of options that I'm thinking about, I believe it's a very good play for this weekend, and I think we'll see some people run deep with it.
Good call. Good call.
Yeah,
Special shout out to the sixth third place list.
yeah,
Mostly
no,
built by Eric. I got the little luckier matchups in day one for the nice run with it. But I mean, yeah, solid list. And honestly, good call with the Zard on a little bit of a decline, a little bit less popular. Maybe a good time to break back out the hands.
yeah, go, yeah, give him the hands. Those of you listening, Matt, Parker, and I both just gave each other the hands on the video camera. So, all right, let's move on to our next segment, which is the gym leader versus trainer co-op version. We brought this back last episode, had some fun with it. We're gonna do it again. I might have some easy questions for you. I'm not sure if they're easy. I don't know Pokemon lore like probably like you two do. I know Max is probably gonna crush these because we're going back a little bit. We're going back like kind of to the beginning of Pokemon, and I have two questions for you in case you crush the first one. But are you guys ready for your question this week?
Let's get it.
Yes.
All right, those of you playing along at home, go ahead and drop your comment in here if you know it before they do, and see if you're right. Okay, who is the first Pokemon to appear in the English dubbed anime?
Do I just say it out loud?
Sure, if you know
Yeah, I
it, yeah,
mean
go
it's
ahead.
it's Nido Rhino, right? Maybe. Wait. Oh wait. In the anime?
The
The
English
English
dubbed
dubbed
anime.
anime.
I was thinking of the game. Well, it still
It's
might be that.
Gengar, right?
Actually,
isn't
oh,
it?
because there's the fight scene that's opens up, right?
Okay, well, he
Like the
has a
kids watching on
he has
TV,
a
right?
yeah, but he has like a Pidgey alarm clock or something. We're not
No, I
counting
think the
that, right?
TV's on. I think the TV's on before the alarm clock goes off.
Okay.
Maybe, right? Because isn't it like, oh, here's the world of Pokemon, and then here's Ash Ketchum starting his journey, and it's like,
Yeah, it's
you're
like
late, kid.
Gengar
Like
battering
something like that.
Nidorino. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Gengar Nidorino battle. I mean, unless Eric's gonna hit us like, oh, there's a Pidgey that flies before or a Wingull that flies. Actually, Wingulls wouldn't be around, but whatever. One of those. All right, Parker, we locking in Gengar.
Yeah, let's lock it in.
Like, we'll lock in Gengar.
Okay, you guys are both incorrect.
Who
Would
is
you
it?
like a second try? I will tell
Nidorino?
I will tell you that both of your lines of thinking are way off.
What?
Is it Ho-Oh?
No, that's the last. Wait. So what's the question again?
Oh,
Who is the first Pokemon to appear in the English dubbed anime?
the first Pokemon. Oh, I'm
I feel like
confused.
there's some. I don't know. There's something. Yeah. All right.
All right, so I'm gonna give you a hint.
Mm-hmm.
I wanna be the
Oh,
very
it's
best.
Mewtwo.
Oh,
Uh,
Oh,
oh,
wait, is
oh.
Mewtwo or Mew? It's
That's
Mewtwo?
Mewtwo. Yeah, it's Mewtwo.
Mewtwo.
no, it's not Mewtwo. It's Mewtwo.
Anyone who doesn't know Stephen A. Smith as given his thoughts on whether Mewtwo could defeat LeBron in a first to 21. Check out the clip on Twitter. It's pretty good. But
So it's so funny because like Maddox before the episode of planning like showed me this clip and I saw this question and I was like, ah yes, this question. Absolutely. I'm
I
shocked you
said
guys
Mewtwo.
didn't get that, but
Well, I was
Well,
thinking of screen time, not the theme song, right?
yeah, yeah.
yeah. Because
Like, okay,
I thought the episode started and then the opening.
No,
I
theme
guess not
song
then.
comes on right first, man.
Okay.
It is
Pokemon
Mewtwo.
episode 1 YouTube.
Maddox is fact checking me.
A full episode right now. Oh damn, it is. It is Mewtwo. But
It's
after
Mew.
Mewtwo, we got the games, which is Gengar and Nidorino.
Yeah.
So bonus points to me and Parker and everyone else listening at home. Who also same line of thinking. Let us know if you got that correct. Because yeah,
Yeah, I'm actually curious how many people actually think they got that correct. So I'm gonna give you another question just because it's fun. We'll spend a little bit of time on it. Which Pokemon has the most signature moves out of all the Pokemon?
are we kind of like Z moves and stuff, and like Gigantamax moves?
I can't. There was no context given for the question,
Okay,
so I'm not sure about your answer. I can give you a hint that the answer is 9.
9 signature moves. So it's
I'm
got
signature moves.
Okay, so I mean, like again, who gets that many signature moves, right? I mean, like
I can't
Pokemon with
think
like
of any.
multiple forms, probably.
I was like maybe Genesect or something.
No, I mean it's not like those signature move. I mean, honestly, it's probably also, I mean,
Alex, aren't you doing trivia at NAIC? If you can't answer these two,
Hey, hey,
For
man.
anyone who wants
Hey,
to
man.
also get questions wrong with me, Xander Bennett, another friend of the podcast, hosting trivia at NAIC. Check him out on Twitter for the details of that to get signed up.
Xander, if you're listening, I want to hear from you. I want to make sure that you got these two questions right. Otherwise, I'm gonna like be questioning your trivia knowledge.
Bro doesn't know anything about Pokemon, just looks up 3 questions on the internet before and calls himself an expert. Man,
Now he's an
it's easy
expert.
on your high horse with your computer and your
Yes,
pre-planning.
sir. Yes, sir.
Now
All right,
he's an
so
expert.
back to the thinking. What do you guys think? I was saying, Maddox, you were onto it. Like, you were going down the right path.
I'm like definitely like forgetting something or like forgetting a Pokemon that has like a ton of forms. I mean like Arceus has a bunch of forms, but like he just has like Judgment the
You
one.
just put the plates on him,
Um
yeah.
okay, like now this showing some of the lore, right? So when we're talking like shadow Pokemon, so Lugia from Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness has like 4 different exclusive shadow moves that only it can use. Not sure if that
This is
is
true.
included here. Um
But
because
then
because it has a few, but also some of its former signature moves are no longer signature moves. So the Pokemon might have to be like a new Pokemon to actually have all those signature moves in case of the new games. I don't know them, plus all the DLC stuff. And this could be like a Glacier scenario because we're including like both forms of Calyrex.
Yeah. Could be Pterodasto or whatever this
Yeah, if
turtle's
we had
name
like yeah,
is.
so Terra, yeah, I know there's something with it. We'll learn about it when it comes.
Terra
Terra Gelatos,
I
the
don't
turtle, the
remember
turtle, the
this
turtle
called.
guy. Um, yeah, I'm just gonna. I mean, I don't know, Parker. You got anything? I'm trying to spin through as much as I can.
Uh, I'm kind of stumped. I didn't think anything had 9 signature moves.
Yeah, nine's a lot.
Mhm.
9
So
is a
there's
lot.
something I'm not thinking of, and hopefully I'm getting clowned in the comments for it. But I'm just gonna say Lugia and stick to my XD Gale of Darkness. Shout out to any GameCube champions out there.
Okay. No,
Yeah,
no
sure.
guesses for you, Parker?
Um, I almost feel like no, I feel like it has to be a legendary.
It's not a legendary, I'll tell you that.
Okay,
What?
I was thinking maybe it's not a legendary, and then I was like, nah, that sounds wrong. Um, gosh.
You guys are kind of
Just
freak.
pick something. Well, I mean, it's probably just like Zard or something stupid because you got like
Yeah,
oh
he's
your
got
Z
all the
moves and your
megas
Mega
and the Z
moves and your
moves and
G
the
Max.
Gigantamax.
Yeah.
Oh
All right,
wait,
just
wait.
oh,
Mm, 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 mm.
bro, you have the listeners on the
It
edge of
might
their seat,
be.
please.
I might. I. All right, this might be stupid. But I think it's Pikachu.
Thought you locking in?
Yeah, I'll lock in Pikachu.
You're both incorrect.
Who was it?
What Pokemon has the most forms?
Probably Charizard.
Arceus.
Eevee.
Eevee doesn't have signature moves like that.
Yes, it does. Look it up, buddy.
All right. I'm looking at
Oh
my.
boy.
I mean, you got to
That's what I
think
mean. It's
because
got the
Glaceon, all the evolutions, they all have their own move, and that still is technically Eevee.
oh, that's from Pokemon Let's Go. That doesn't even count. I've never even heard
Oh,
of these
what?
moves.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, Bouncy
cheating, bro.
Bubble, Buzzy Buzz, Sizzly Slide, Glitzy Glow, Batty Bad. Hold up, what? Sappy Seed, Freezy
Damn,
Frost,
they named
Sparkly
a move
Swirl.
after me.
What the heck?
Well, that was a lot of fun. I stumped you guys on two
And VV
questions.
Volley.
That
What
was pretty
the heck?
good. Max, when you were like going down to like what has the most forms, I was like, I thought you're gonna get it.
I mean, I hope that was good content, but I had no
Yeah.
idea. I mean, Batty Bad
I
is a
didn't
type, as
consider.
a
So
move.
wait, do they get it? Do they get it in Let's Go when they evolve into that thing?
Don't ask me questions. I don't know.
Oh my God.
Oh man, I know trivia so much.
Get
Oh, I
this
don't know. I
guy
just
out of
Googled it.
here.
Like,
Oh
man.
yeah, you guys suck.
Uh,
What's the answer to the question? I don't know.
All
well,
right.
geez. I mean, okay, but here's the thing. Like, if you're sick of learning, at least you can celebrate that school's out with at Nakama Anime Cafe with their school's out summer cosplay event coming up May
Yeah.
31st, right? I, for one, am sick of Eric's shenanigans, and I will be letting loose at the Schools Out for Summer cosplay party. Again, Nakama Anime Cafe, supporting the podcast all the time, has a lot of great events, great food. Again, we're there for locals every Wednesday for some Pokemon, but also has these big parties like this. There's even like Hello Kitty raves. They've done Pokemon raves before. It's a lot of fun, and you can also sing some karaoke, get some great drinks, and enjoy some fun with friends. So, shout out to Nakama Anime Cafe for always supporting the podcast, and anyone in the Orange Park, Jacksonville area. Be sure to check out the Schools Out for Summer cosplay party, May 31st. Because
Yeah.
yeah, I'm done with the segment,
I
Eric.
mean, if you're done with me in this segment, definitely don't come out on May 29th for local leagues on my birthday because we're gonna have a good time. It's 2 days before that. You can come out for that and then come out on May 31st. But yeah,
Yeah.
thanks, Nakama, for your continued support of this podcast and our Pokemon adventures. Can't do without you. Okay, moving
Sure.
on to our next signature topic. Let's talk Ace Specs, man. We got some new Ace Specs coming out, and I want to run through our new updated tier list with you. So give me 1 second. For those of you listening on the podcast listening platforms, we are going to share a screen while we build this tier list. I do have the new A specs that are in our August set that we know of currently. I hope there's going to be more because the two that have been announced are not very good. Um, Spoiler alert. And we'll put those on here, but I just want to give a quick shout out to Sonic Fiend FGC for building out the initial tier list. You can follow them on Twitter. Thanks for building this list. And let's go ahead and jump into it. Are there any no-brainers that we want to put in S tier still?
S tier, I think Prime Catcher goes there, no?
I think so too. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
a broken card.
Yeah, well, I guess let's keep going through some of the ones that came out in Temporal Forces.
Okay.
Things like Maximum Belt.
Yeah.
Again, how do we feel about it now? Again, a little more circumstantial card.
B maybe?
Yeah, I think this is B at most.
I think it's the only thing keeping Arceus alive, kind of, but
Yeah, that's true. Without this, I don't know if Arctina or Arcdex could really. I mean, it's okay. I mean, it has its niches, right? I mean, like especially with Ursa Luna, you put it on there, you're hitting 290. That's
yeah.
a pretty cool number.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think it's very good.
I mean, again, really just matchup specific, like a great tech inclusion. When you're expecting that room full of EXs. I do think we'll see some success with this at upcoming tournaments. Again, just being ready for Charizard and in Twilight Masquerade meta, being ready for, cards like Dragapult EX. Let's see. Let's hit maybe the Ace Spec that Parker played this past weekend. Ancient Drum.
Ancient
Awakening
Drum.
Drum.
The card
Yeah.
says Drum on Ancient on it, excuse me, and that's the only reason why it's good. But like
Basically.
outside of that, like I don't think this is higher than C tier.
No, it's C or yeah, C or D. But like the only thing I'd like it for is yes, it's ancient, but I typically try my best to not use it because like if you have Pokestop out and get Roxanne or Ionode, like you can stop for it and like draw a bunch. But like yeah, it's like C or D even.
Yeah, I think definitely finding the right time in the mid game to get the most value out of it is pretty good. And like you said, saving it as that out when you need it. And again, just having a card that you can just play at any time, pretty good.
Heroes Cape just won a regional. It's doing
I
pretty
think
well. It's seen in some control Zard list.
Cape is like A maybe?
Is it A? Is it?
A
I
and a
mean,
half.
it's better than Max Belt, right? Like for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
But is it A? Let's put it in B for now.
I think
Okay.
in a format where Lost Vacuum exists, you can only have Heroes Cape so high.
That's
I
Right.
do
true.
think it's an incredibly strong card. And
Yeah.
especially once Lost Vacuum rotates, will continue to be very strong. Really deck specific lots. I mean, but a card that almost any deck can take advantage of. I think it's right on that like B to A fringe.
I mean, we're definitely getting Field Blower back, right?
No.
That would be wild.
That'd be great. All right, let's talk about the one dying Ace Spec, Master Ball.
Womp womp.
Wah,
C.
wah. No, I don't even think it's C. I think it just goes in D.
I think so. Yeah, maybe.
I mean,
Hey,
because like,
if Ultra Ball is so good that every deck plays it, what if you didn't have to discard to play Ultra Ball?
I mean,
Yeah.
like Lugia plays this, but only because they like their deck isn't consistent. They have to. But now they're gonna want to play Legacy Energy. So like, is any deck
Yeah, I
even
think
going to play Master Ball?
I don't think so.
I mean, like it just lands it in D tier immediately because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, the value you get from every other Ace Spec just can't compare to what you get out of Master Ball.
I
Or
mean, like,
sorry, wait, overshadows what you can get out of Master Ball. Yeah,
I mean,
said it
on
the
that
wrong way.
same kind of vein that we're talking about Master Ball, like who's playing Reboot Pod?
Yeah, not even the future decks are
I mean,
playing it.
like
I
it's
think
so
like
tough to play this card.
I think if there's a single prize future box decks that exists, I think it plays it.
I mean, I think
But
it could be
outside
very
of
good
that,
going into NAIC if Dragapult had a weakness of any type.
that's true, yeah.
But like the dragon type, like just no weakness.
Yeah.
You can't even cook up a future single prize deck with this
Yeah,
to
it's
beat
not
them.
cool. Not cool, man.
It's like, oh, you
Yeah,
have this cool little grass Pokemon that hits for a lot of damage, but only has a little bit of HP. Yeah, here you go. Hey, that.
mhm. Yeah. I mean, I think it's just got to be in D tier for now.
Yeah, I
Again,
think so
even not
too.
usable in the one decks that could actually be used in. Um,
All right, we have
Neo Upper,
one.
on the other hand,
Oh yeah, new upper. Yeah, I mean new upper definitely a C tier.
I think it's. I mean, in terms of the value you get out of it, again, very deck specific. I think is a little bit stronger in like NAIC meta where Dragapult comes out. But
Yep.
again, But even if you're playing a stage 2 deck, right? I've seen this in Meowscaradas. You could theoretically throw this into a Charizard deck if you're, low on energy, or just any other big stage 2 deck that you want to play.
Hmm.
Hey, being able to attach 2 energy of Rainbow from your hand,
Pretty
pretty
good.
good.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
it's
fine
better
with
than
this.
Drum, right?
Mm,
It's one of those things that's just like so deck specific. I think C or B at this point, right? It's probably B in the
I'd
future, and I
probably say
guess
C,
yeah. Let's mix
but
in some of
like
the new cards, and then we can kind of talk about where maybe we realign some of these.
What is the most broken new card that we need to have a S tier discussion?
I would say stamp.
Unfair stamp, just a
Uh,
genuinely unfair card.
Unfair stamp. If your opponent knocks you out on your next turn, you can play this item card, and you shuffle, draw five. Your opponent shuffle draws two. So, lost boxes beware. If you go turn one Cramorant, you might
Yeah.
get unfair
I was
stamp.
just about to say that, yeah.
I mean, we've seen some Dragapult decks play this. We're seeing some other decks potentially play it. We'll talk about where we think it should be included. Is it as good as Prime Catcher?
Mm.
Is it to be determined? But like, I mean, I think it's a very strong card.
It definitely is. Both cards are like game-winning cards, kind of,
Yeah,
in theory.
yeah. I mean,
If
does
you're
that put
playing it,
them on the same level?
maybe. So, like, if you're playing against a non-barrel deck, it's like extraordinarily good. But like, if you're playing against a barrel, is like, Prime Catcher's better.
Well,
Well,
what
wait,
about
can't you go
counter catcher?
yeah, can't you go unfair stamp Prime Catcher in the same turn?
Oh,
Well, they're ace specs, but
Oh
you
no,
can
they're
go
ace
counter cat,
specs.
but you can go counter catcher, unfair stamp, and you found one of them off of the Arvin you played for turn, right? I mean that ability is what makes it very very strong.
Yeah, they're both
Um,
Arvin searchable. Yeah.
yeah, and I think in some decks, right? Again, even we'll talk about some other decks, but like even like the Turbo Hands, if people are playing that, or other decks that can just put a lot of pressure on early. If your opponent goes to take that early knockout, you're able to go hit with an unfair stamp and throw a Charizard in the active, or go and throw a Dragapult in the active, or throw an Iron Hands in the active. Again, pretty tough to come back to that for some decks if they're not fully set up at that point. So I think for now, definitely in the S tier conversation.
yeah.
Comfortable putting it up in S tier?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
got time to review later
sure.
if we need to.
Sounds good. All right, what about Scoop Up Cyclone?
I personally really like this card.
Me too.
I personally would put it in A. I'm open for discussion.
I am also down with A on this card. I mean, like, think of a Charizard playing this, or Dragapult playing
Oh,
this, or
think of
anyone that's.
Charizard going
I mean, just
scoop
like
up Cyclone
you
counter
you
catcher
scoop it up,
Iono.
evolve your Charmeleon, bring more fire energy into play. Pretty broken card. Allows you to use some crazy abilities a couple of times as well if you wanted to.
And now Turo, Boss, and Iono in the same turn.
Yeah, I
Yeah, you
mean,
go scoop up, counter catcher.
Iono.
wild.
Disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think a good card for the game. Good to see it reprinted. It was one of the original Ace specs as well. It finds an interesting spot here. We have cards like Turo and Penny in the format as well, but having it on an item is gives us some new potential. I'm not sure if it's quite proven enough to be an A tier. I'm more comfortable with it in B personally, but still a very strong card in the right deck. Which is kind of how I feel categorized as like the other cards, kind of like a cape or like a belt, where it's like, hey, this is strong in certain decks where you need these tools.
You're outvoted 2-1, buddy. It's going in A
Hey, I got
tier.
to make my case.
All right, Hyper Aroma, Goldango, and Guardy's favorite card. Just find your three Curlias, find your three Goldangos. I mean, you could even make a case in Dragapult, find your three Jacloaks. It's pretty good.
Just play Lance.
I mean, but like you can play this as an item, and then I don't know, I don't know.
Yeah, I just think the value that you get from again, I think this Hyper Roma is just a question of like, do you get better value from other cards? I mean,
Thing
some of the
is,
decks, or go ahead.
I was gonna say the thing about this card is like for it to have like good use, one you have to find it, and then like two, you have to open like two Buddy Poffins to like have it be like really good, I think. Or
Yeah,
like
it's definitely
open.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a secondary card, right? And I know some of the Guardy lists that are seeing success are playing heavy counts of Arvin or Irida. to go and find your Buddy Poffin early, and then to go and find your Aroma second turn. Again, it kind of requires that, but I think it's a case of just like there's sometimes better value of other cards. I can't really see it higher than like C or B tier.
Yeah,
That's where I put it.
I
Yeah.
think B, right? I mean, I think it's better than Drum and Neo, but I don't know if it's probably like worse than Belt, maybe.
I think it's fair.
Probably.
All right. Let's talk about the secret box. This one is where you can get a stadium, a special energy, and a tool. Is that right?
And one more
Supporter,
thing. A
supporter,
supporter, yeah.
stadium, energy, and tool.
Jeez,
Wait, is it
4
energy?
things.
Wait,
And an
no.
item, right?
Wait, no, it's not energy, right?
It's only 3 things, correct?
No, it's 4
I thought it
things.
was 4 things. What is it called? Secret box?
This is the
Let's
Beach Court podcast, not knowing what a new Ace Spec does.
I'm pretty sure it's
yeah, item card. Items,
Yeah.
tool, supporter, stadium.
Item, tool, supporter,
supporter,
stadium.
But you have to discard 3 cards from your hand in order to use it.
Whoa, we're playing this in Lugia.
Yeah, so you
Nah.
just get Jacques and then you get
Yeah,
Ultra Ball.
bruh.
And
You get
yeah.
Cypher and Pokestop.
Yeah, we're cooking.
Yeah, I mean, again, a card like this to be able to find all of these pieces as an item, again, very, very powerful, right? There aren't cards like that. The hard part for me is just the drawback, right? Discarding 3, it's pretty costly. And while those are all like good cards, do you need them all at the same time? And what are you comfortable giving up for these? Again, I haven't seen too much success with this card over a lot of the meta, but I mean, maybe there's an unproven application for it where it can see some success in the right deck. But I personally don't find myself rating this high.
It's Lugia, man. You just like go get Jock Ultra
Yeah, but
Ball.
legacy energy. It's like
Nah.
all right.
Nah. You can't.
I like the legacy energy with
You
the
can't use
hands.
legacy energy if you can't get your
Like hands
tops in
of
the
one
bin.
prizer.
Okay. Parker, I'm thinking like C. I don't know where you're at.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Boo.
Right. Outvoted 2-1, Eric.
There could be decks that come
feels.
out that could really, really like use that card.
Boo.
Yeah, I've even seen it talked about like ancient box type of thing as a way to discard those
yeah,
cards from your
exactly.
hand.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, grab Pokestop and
Sada.
yeah.
Sada
But speaking of
and-
legacy energy, Parker, I know you said you like it. What do you think of this card?
I think it's B because like sure most people are talking about it just for like Lugia, but I think it's like splashable. Like it can go in anything kinda.
You're putting this in
Kinda.
Zard.
Kinda.
All right, we'll get to that next. I'm okay with B tier. I think it's an unproven card currently, but it's good in Lugia.
I mean, I think the card, like Park said, it's inherently broken, right? Any energy plus you take -1 prize for knocking out this Pokemon. A really, really good effect there. The hard part is that it exists right when Enhanced Hammer is also coming out and is being, again, at least based off Japan meta, heavily played.
Yeah.
So again,
Yeah.
it's kind of in the same spot as like Cape, where it says, hey, when you have your Ace Spec, that's like a like kind of, I mean, it's a little offensive and defense, so maybe a
debuff.
little better than Cape in this case. But like when you're saying that like it can be dealt with before you have like
You get
your
no value
opponent
for
can deal
your
with it.
Ace Specs.
Yeah, sometimes you don't
no
get as
value.
much value, but you always get some value if you're attacking with it type of thing. So, but I mean, probably that B A tier fringe, I'd say.
All right, survival cast. If someone tries to knock out if you have full HP, right? Is that the?
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, full HP, and you're going to be knocked out. Instead of being knocked out, you are down to 10. This is, I think, a good card. However, I don't see any decks that can play it, and with Vacuum in the format, I don't think it can be better than a C tier card.
Coming from someone who played Mew VMAX and had their guys getting one shot all the time by Drapions or Roaring Moons or Charizards, it could have been cool in like a Mew VMAX deck or something like that. But again, Vacuum's in the format.
Bro, you're playing this
Unproven.
over Prime Catcher and Mew VMAX?
I don't know. Well,
No
I mean,
Or
shot.
Max Belt.
Actually, yeah, true. Yeah. I mean, honestly, to be fair, every card is broken in Mew because Mew is broken, but that's just a whole separate
Yeah.
discussion.
All right,
Even
Max, what's your
Drum would
vote?
be good.
I mean, I don't like it feels insulting to put it in D, but I'm like, don't some decks just get better value to playing Master Ball? Like,
Yeah, be fair.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Parker,
What do
C
y'all
or
think?
D? What's your deciding factor here?
I say C, but it's a card that has potential.
definitely has
Definitely
potential.
think it has potential.
Some wacky. I mean, there's gonna be some control list with this. Once vacuum rotates, where it's just like, oh, I'm just gonna keep chaining this, and it's like, yeah, I got nothing. There's
Yeah.
already a way to infinite this and expand it, I believe. So I saw a
Yeah.
thread on Twitter about it.
Okay, so looking at the two new Ace specs that will be in our August set, that is all of the Ace specs that are in our NAIC June set that comes out this week on May 24th, Twilight Masquerade. Let's look at Neutral Center. This is prevent all damage done to Pokemon that don't have a rule box by attacks from their opponent's Pokemon EX and Pokemon V. If it's in your discard pile, they're liking this new stuff on the new Ace specs. If it's in your discard pile, it cannot be put into your hand or shuffled into your deck. I don't think they like seeing Silene being used to get back
Yeah,
Ace specs.
Team yelled cheer for
Uh,
my thing
yeah.
and replay it. Pidgeot search it.
So they're putting this new on there. This is a stadium card that Vacuum will still be in format when this card is legal. And basically it is a Mimikyu stadium for all of your non-rule box Pokemon. A Mimikyu effect on all of your non-rule box Pokemon. Where do you think this card belongs on the tier list? We haven't seen any list with it. Obviously, it's not really a card that's being played currently. Doesn't have a place in the meta.
Well,
Is it
does it
better
exist?
than
Yeah.
I know, but will it have a place in the meta? And how do we feel about this card?
At this very moment, I think it's a D tier card.
Woo! Maddox?
But
Go ahead,
Wait.
but what? Go ahead, but
when vacuum rotates, there's no good generic stadiums. And stadiums become more scarce, could be a thing. But
bro,
I also see him.
reprint Chaos
No.
Swell as a stadium, as an A-Spec
Oh,
stadium.
true. Yeah,
I
okay.
mean, there's no stadiums that you care about having in play. Really. I mean, like Temple, maybe. Like everyone. I mean, I don't know, but
Lost City, Neutral Center,
Yeah, not Lost City.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. So
Community Center.
neutral center again. Such like you cannot understate just how powerful this effect is, right? Like
Right.
turning all of your non-Roblox Pokemon into Mimikyu, giving that ability, but still having all the powers that they do normally, right? Um, Again, you can play any stadium to counter it. You can play Lost Vacuum to counter it. I think this is very much a card where you're comboing with the disruption, with a late game situation, right? It's kind of one of those things where you've gotten rid of your opponent's resources. They have no stadium bumps left, and then you leave this in here and are able to dominate from there.
Yeah.
I think just with the potential power of it, like I can't put it in D tier. But again, from what we know about the game and how easily counterable this would be, I mean, it's probably still like a B to C tier.
All right.
Yeah.
Moving it to you said B or C?
Yeah.
I think C for now, maybe then.
Yeah,
It's
I can't go higher than
it's
C.
definitely it, it's a good card, but there's just it's not the easiest thing to play ever and like safely have it stay on the field.
Hmm.
All right, moving on
It,
to our last aspect. This one, if we don't, if you guys don't say D tier, let's just move on.
we
Because if
make
this,
a can we make an E tier and put it in
Wait,
that?
sorry. Can you describe the card again? What does it
I'm
do?
working on it. Yeah, heal 150 damage from one of your Pokemon.
Oh,
And
it's your supporter, right?
it's an item.
It's an item.
It's an
Oh, that's
item.
busted. S tier. Better than Prime
However,
Catcher. I'm
however,
putting that in right now.
you cannot get it back from your discard pile by any means.
It's fine. No one deals that much damage in the game, anyways. Put an
All
S
right,
tier.
S
Chalk it
tier.
up.
Got it.
Yeah.
Done. Yeah, no, we're going to D tier with this card. I want like
Non-believers.
Scoop
Non-believers.
of Cyclone just so much better than just like healing 150, unless they come out with some broken abilities that says, hey, if you healed 150 damage this turn, do
Do
500 damage to your
150 more.
I'm only
Yeah.
playing one Pokemon in my deck. I can't play Super Scoop Up. I'm just gonna play Pokeval A. What?
Yeah, Poke Vital A.
Poke
Pokevile.
Vital A. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the current translation. We haven't got the English.
Yeah. I
English
mean, I gotta say, I'm glad they didn't just reprint Gold Potion because the heal 90 of that day was not strong enough. It would not be strong enough now. At least there's a comparable option. I'm hopeful there's something for this, but
like
yeah, I don't know if I see it.
if it could be recycled, there could be an argument that the card is good. But the fact that like you specifically cannot get it back from your discard pile, and oh by the way, this is an item that you cannot hit off a Pokestop because Pokestop discards the cards first. So it is not a card that you can get back from your discard pile from Pokestop, which makes it absolutely D tier. All right, we're gonna get ready to move on and talk about which Ace Specs belong in which deck. We'll do that real quick, and then I'll ask you guys a kind of meta question about Ace Specs. Okay, so let's run through and talk about the best decks that are coming up in our Twilight Masquerade format, and which Ace Spec we think belongs in those decks. We'll save Dragapult for last because there's so many variants and it'll take the longest.
Yeah. So real quick, I mean, we're gonna go more in depth on all of this stuff in our episode next week of like the decks, but for now we're just touching on like if you're working on a list, like, hey, here's some Ace Specs to consider in the list and our thoughts on it. You know, we'll do a full meta breakdown and things like that on our next episode.
Yep. Good call out. Okay, so first up is Lugia. The obvious inclusion is Legacy Energy because of its ability to be used for Iron Hands or anything else that has an Aurora energy. And we know how broken Aurora energy was in the beginning with Lugia. Is there an
Sir.
argument for any other card? Parker, you played some Lugia back in the day. What do you feel like? Is there an argument for any other ace spec besides Legacy Energy?
I think if you went like purely colorless, you could throw the box in there, but otherwise I think Legacy is gonna be more important whether you're going like hands or Radiant Zord with it or whatever.
Yeah, I especially think like comboing Legacy Energy with the Wellspring Ogrepon EX that
That
gives
too,
some real
yeah.
new potentials, right? It attacks for just a water and two colorless. And you can choose to shuffle 3 energy back and deal 120 to the bench plus the 100 you're dealing to the active. So I think it gives some cool flexibility of being able to shuffle in the Legacy Energy to retain it and save it for another attacker, and like leave something like a gift energy on it. But then there's also the option to just leave the legacy on it and then now have your one prize attacker, your one prize attacker in the active. But I also, I mean, I guess in defense of other cards, I have seen some lists, you know, Prime Catcher, I think has seen some play in the current standard today. Also seen some spicy lists with like a hero's cape, just kind of create, you know, a little bit extra bulk on your Cinchinos or on your Lugias. But I think right now Twilight Masquerade, like, I think it's got to be Legacy Energy, right?
I mean, I
Yeah.
think Legacy Energy is good. I don't get me wrong. A 300 a rat, a zero prize rat hitting for 350 HP is kind of crazy for zero prizes. But with E Hammer in format and Temple in format, and people are playing these cards because Lugia
They
is a deck,
definitely are, yeah.
there is 100% an argument to include the toolbox to get rid
Right.
of your Archeops and go get like Jock Ultra Ball. Even if you don't have Archeops in hand, that card can go get you Jock Ultra Ball. And that
Yep.
combo right there just gets you 2 Archeops in the discard pile and a V-Star. So like I could see this card being included in Lugia's over Legacy, even though Legacy is so broken of attacker. And the reason for it is because of Chinchino. Chinchino, you don't really care if you make it 1 prize less. You literally just attack with this single prize guy that's hitting 350 every turn. And if you can do that consistently over the course of a best of 3, over the course of 15 rounds, I mean, you're not losing a
You're
mini
doing
deck.
pretty good, yeah.
You're not losing a mini deck. So
Mhm.
I'm going to make the argument to say that there will be a Lugia list that makes day 2 at NAIC that plays the toolbox.
I
Hot
don't doubt
take
it,
right here.
honestly.
All right, moving on to the next deck. And the next deck on the list is straight Charizard EX. Maddox Corcoran, you recently played Charizard to a couple of regionals, or at least one. Can't remember in my head because I'm terrible at memory. What is the best ace spec for Twilight Masquerade format in Charizard?
So again, Prime Catcher remains extraordinarily strong and is not a bad inclusion in really any deck. I do think that Unfair Stamp gives you some extra flexibility there, right? You know, being able to mix in that disruption, as well as, you know, some other like Turo combo plays. I could see a lot of, you know, skill expression and some cool opportunities there. Um, Max Belt is also being seen in some Twilight Masquerade lists to help into the Zard match, sorry, into the Dragapult matchup. There's
Yeah.
some cool
Yeah.
things they can do where even if their opponent's taking 2 prizes, so you're normally hitting 240, you add a Max Belt, and then you play Kieran, so now you're hitting all the way from 240 to 320 to get the knockout on a Dragapult. So some
Yep.
pretty good potential there. I mean, for now, I haven't done a full amount of testing, but for now, give me some Prime Catcher. It's just good. It's just good.
It's just a good
Um,
card.
but
Yeah.
I mean, let y'all let me know how your testing's going. If you have the broken Ace Spec and Zard, give us a shout and let us know.
Parker, what about you? What do you think the ace spec of choice for Zard is?
I think in a vacuum, it's Prime Catcher, but I could see a Zard deck with Prime Catcher, Hero's Cape, Max Belt, even Scoop Up Cyclone,
Hmm.
or Unfair Stamp. Like any of those five doing well, I think.
Do you ever include a legacy energy?
That's like a little jank, but I guess if you're playing Pidgeot, you can just go find it.
Yeah, I mean, you just go find it, attach it. It's like playing a mist, right? But instead of protecting from effects, you're just like, hey, this is a one prize guy that's 330 HP, and you got to deal with it.
Yeah, that's her.
I
The
can
thing
see it
is, I think it only lets you take one less prize if
once
you
per
get
game.
knocked out by damage.
Yeah.
True, not
So
effects.
like, yeah, if they go Star Requiem, it dies still.
Yeah,
Or
that's
you
fine.
take
Yeah,
Tina's not real.
yeah. Tina's not a deck. Ain't nobody
is
playing that.
Moon not real too?
Not so far, but I'm sure someone will cook up a good list with a moon in it. Let's move
That's
on
true.
to Lost Tina since we were just talking about it. Lost Tina, Parker, you're our kind of Lost Tina rat guru guy that just keeps playing the
Rat.
deck.
Call him a
Not sure
rat
which one
guru.
you want to
You're
call
rat
it.
guru. Oh,
Uh, but what do you think the best ace spec is in Lost Tina? Is it Unfair Stamp? Is it Prime Catcher? Is it
What
Cyclone?
what
I think it's Prime Catcher. I could see an argument for Max Belt. Um,
Yeah,
I don't really see anything outside of the two. Like Scuba Cyclone would be cool, I guess, but like I can't really think of like a time where like or like a series where you would consistently need it. But yeah, I like unfair stamps cool, but like you need to build a hand for like a large amount of the game, and then you Roxanne your opponent kind of thing. So like doing it, turn two is like probably not the best idea.
yeah. Max?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just keeping it basic. I like Prime Catcher here a lot. Again, it's another switch for your comfies. Gust on an item, you can chorus into it and get aggressive early. Some teams are even playing Cologne in Twilight Masquerade format to really give you a lot of Greninja possibilities. So just gotta send the Prime Catcher. It's just a good card.
Yeah, I'm making my case here. I'm sorry. I'm gonna stamp. I'm on the hill. I'm gonna stamp you. We're gonna stamp. I think stamp is the good card there. Obviously, Prime Catcher is good. You can always play Prime Catcher. But when I think about Tina, I think about it being a pile and it's inconsistent and people kind of taking advantage of you early and you're trying to come back. And so maybe being able to unfair stamp and Colress in the same turn is pretty good. So I kind of like those thoughts because then you can cut the Roxannes and play more kind of pokey gears to like make your deck a little bit more consistent or other things that you could do that way. Because then you're not reliant on Roxanne. You just kind of hold your ace spec for whenever you can use it. So I don't know. I kind of like that thought. But I'm not sure. I'm sure there will be some big groups that play Tina. We got Alberto Conti probably going to play Tina. Alberto, if you're listening, what's the best ace spec, man? Tell us. Excited to hear from you. So moving on to the next deck, we've got Raging Bolt Ogre Pawn. Does anybody have a case for anything but Prime Catcher?
Uh,
Awakening Drum.
I was gonna say that's a possibility. But you're probably drawing like two or three off that card. Um, yeah,
I mean,
pretty much that.
yeah, I'll give a quick
It's-
shout to Hero's Cape. Just
Heroes
yeah,
Cape.
240, make it 340. Pretty on a basic.
But you've
340.
got the
Yeah,
ancient booster capsule. Just make it 300.
Yeah, just
yeah.
play Prime Catcher.
I mean, just play Prime Catcher. Yeah, I agree.
There's a small max spell argument, but very
Yep,
small.
saves you an energy.
Saves you
Saves
energy.
you an
Yeah.
energy in a couple different ways, but yeah.
What about Maridon? Maridon just won the Champions League in Japan against Gardevoir. We'll talk about that deck next. Are they playing anything but Prime Catcher? I mean, the box goes and gets you a research, a generator. You discard 3 lightnings. I don't know. I mean, cooking a little bit. Survival. I don't know.
Prime,
Survival.
I mean, Prime Catcher's always good. I do think that unfair stamp can be an argument, mainly because you're going to a quick Iron Hands. If you're able to get your Iron Hands set up and then put the pressure on an unfair stamp your opponent, if it's the right situation. Again, like maybe that's too much for them to come back from if you can just keep swinging with Iron Hands and really put the pressure on.
Well, right. That's what I was gonna say. Survival cast.
Just play Baton.
Well, I mean, no, they're not taking any prizes, and my Iron Hand lives.
Yeah, just play Baton.
But then they're taking prizes.
You take 2 back with another Iron Hands. You're
Yeah,
chilling.
but if I take 4 before they take any, don't I just win? I'm just saying survival cast.
Nah.
There's an argument there.
Maybe
No, you go
what
Roxanne,
just
Charizard, Lost Vacuum, and
Yeah, you
you're
just scoop
done.
it
That
up. You just scoop
cooks.
it
Yeah.
up. Nah, I'd win.
nah, just hey, just keep to watch out for your fence and don't cook too much, all right?
Hey, you want to have some fun? You want to try something different? Just give survival cast a try. I haven't done it yet. I don't know, but in theory, it sounds okay. Iron Hand taking 4 prizes to start the game. I mean, I think that will leave Jake Earhart like quibbling in his boots. So, not really sure.
There's that new Slitherwing coming out in like 3 months that'll help take care of it.
Yeah, but it's not there now. It's fine. All right, moving on. We got 2 deck types left, 2 archetypes. Gardevoir. I mean, the
Yeah.
obvious inclusions is the Hyper Aroma to get your Curlias off of Irida. Go ahead.
For the most part, I think Scoop Up Cyclone could be
Ooh.
one. Because like part of the goal of that deck is to like Turo your Guardy, so
Mm-hmm.
all the stuff on your board is one prize. I think that I still like Cape because like yeah, you don't need Cape anymore with Drifloon and Monkey Dory. Because you can just charm it and you get that extra 10 damage you can put on it and stuff. You don't like need it with Monkey Dory, but I do counter catcher Iono knock something out with Screen Tail as a play too.
Yeah, I
But
mean, oh, go ahead.
yeah, well, I was done there.
No, I mean again, right, being able to use Monkey Dory and say, hey, okay, I'll put 10 damage counters on my Drifloon. Oh, it only has 120 HP. It doesn't matter. I'll move 1 damage with Monkey Dory, attach 1 more energy. Now I'm hitting 330 with 11 damage counters like that. The ability to do that is really, really strong. When I heard about that, I was like, oh wow, we don't even need Cape anymore. So
Yeah,
Aroma's a very nice consistency boost. Again, plenty of powerful ace specs here that can be included, right? A prime catcher is always good. I do see the scoop up cyclone idea that you're putting down as well. And I guess that only hurts if you have like energy on whatever you want to pick up that it goes into your hand rather than the discard pile. But again, I think there's enough situations where being able to play your Iono plus pick up your Guardian really just limit that
That's
one
pretty
prize
good.
board state really, really strong.
I mean, hear me out. What about the box?
Man, get this box out of here.
Oh, we're discarding 3 psychics. We're going to get
Get what?
I don't know.
You grab your dark energy, grab your hyper aroma. Oh, wait, you're not playing it. Grab counter.
Um,
So you grab counter catcher, Iono, Temple.
yeah, Temple. Yeah, exactly. Temple. Yeah.
League headquarters.
Oh yeah,
No,
yeah.
in all
Nah.
seriousness, but like unfair stamp, I could see.
Yeah,
Same,
yeah, no, that
no, same as Gardevoir, right? Like you're losing early. No, sorry, not Gardevoir, but
Tina.
Tina. Yeah, you're losing early and you're trying to come back. You're a comeback deck. So maybe play a research build with stamps, with a stamp, right? And so I don't know. I could see it. I mean, research, and even if you want Pokestops to kind of mill through your deck a little more, I don't. Who knows? Like you could cook up some cards. You can cook up some cards. Back in the day, Gardevoir decks were playing research, and it was kind of mostly a research deck. So
Yeah.
maybe you
Yeah.
go back to that kind of style and just say, "Hey, I'm going to set up. I'm going to draw into my Corellias. It's fine, and I'm going to stamp you early once you kill my one Gardevoir that I just TM Evo'd." And just kind of take over from there. I mean, because you can really pick apart a board state when they only have 2 cards, right? Even if they have a barrel in play, you just got Scream Tail, kill it. So
Yeah.
there's some cool things you can do there with
Yeah.
Unfair Stamp. I really like that card a lot.
Pokestop though, can't wait to Pokestop, Charm, Gardevoir EX.
No,
Like,
no, we get charms. A charms an item card, right? Don't we get it?
I wish, man.
I still wish we did. All right, so we got the last deck here. There's three different variants. Let's just run through them all pretty quickly. So we got
Love Dragapult.
Dragapult. Dragapult's gonna be a really good deck coming out in Twilight Masquerade. We got Dragapult Xatu, Dragapult Charizard EX, and Dragapult Pidgeot. So let's start off with Dragapult Pidgeot. I think you have to play Neo Upper Energy because you don't have any energy acceleration except for Mela. But maybe you play a heavier Mela build with what Ace Spec?
The above.
Huh?
Yeah, I mean, what? All of the above you said?
Yeah.
So secret box?
So Secret Box?
No.
Looking.
Nah.
Now we're
Not
playing. We're healing 150.
No, sir.
not out yet. No, I mean to your point, right? Like Neo Upper, again, that deck not playing as many acceleration ways. But again, if you do play a heavier builder, or you're saying, hey, I have other tools I want to rely on, something like an unfair stamp, kind of like the Xatu builds have been playing. It gives you some nice flexibility there in the matchup.
Yeah. Parker, anything else besides Neo?
In the Pidgeot builds, I guess if you're playing more Melas, like you could maybe play,
Cyclone.
yeah, Cyclone. If I was to play a Dragapult deck, I guess we'll get to that. I think I'd want Cyclone just
Yeah.
based on what I think I'm gonna see. But
Yeah. All right. Well, which you have two more builds. You kind of alluded to it. Which one would you play Cyclone in? Both of them?
I think so, yeah.
You'd play Cyclone in Dragapult Zard and Dragapult Xatu.
Yeah, I haven't put an insane amount of thought into the decks, but I just really like the idea of it. Like it's really strong,
Yeah, I
picking
mean,
up your guy.
yeah. As an
Yeah, I mean,
item, right? Still
mhm.
ironing as whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, especially with the Xatu, sorry, not the Xatu Zard, the Dragapult Zard, right, where you're playing a pretty thin line of Charizard. If you're getting damage there, you need to accelerate more energy into play, being able to pick it up and then, you know, Arvin or Iono or Boss for that missing piece that you need. Again, just gives you a lot plus accelerate the energy. Like there's a lot of cool things you can do there. So definitely some potential there. Um, yeah, I think a lot of the Xatu builds are starting to see some of that Super Cyclone. I do just think the unfair stamp, right? They can take an early knockout on a Dreepy with either
Yep.
deck, right? And you can say,
Yep.
hey, I'm gonna go put up my Dragapult EX, start swinging for 200 and spreading damage. And if you can't immediately respond, I'm just going to put 260 damage into play each and every turn and force you to respond to it. And if you don't,
Yeah.
I'm gonna win.
Yeah, I agree with that. That
It's
unfair
almost
stamp can
unfair.
go in almost a lot of decks.
Yeah.
I mean, I played the Cyclone some this weekend, and I think it's very good as well. Just picking up your guy and resetting your Dragapult that you just kind of Zatu'd to.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I mean, there's so many cards that you could see here. I mean, any of the top three, Prime Catcher, Reset Stamp, or Cyclone. But it's nice, as we wrap up this conversation, it's nice that there's more ace specs in the conversation of what you should play. I mean,
And
obviously
just prime
Gardevoir,
catcher.
Gardevoir had to play Cape to do what it was trying to do. Ancient Box, there's no other ancient card, so of course they're playing Drum, right? So there's a lot of cards that we didn't really we got a lot more coming in here. And I think we see two more ace specs in our tier list in the top two columns of Scoop Up Cyclone and Stamp. So I think we'll have a lot more consideration. You're trying to like, hey, what is my opponent playing that game one when you open against them? So we will see what happens in NAIC. So real quick, got just one quick question for both of you. I would like your prediction on what ace spec is going to be in the winning NAIC list.
The winning NAIC list. Oh man. Unfair stamp.
Unfair
Someone's
stamp?
gonna like run hot with their opponents breaking off of it.
I'm gonna go a little bit of a hot take. I'm not quite sure which
Ooh,
rogue deck is gonna like work this card in. But still a powerful card, and if it's the right like control built archetype, I'm gonna go a little bold pick on say Hero's Cape.
ooh, all right. Hero's Cape is definitely not what I expected to hear from you, Maddox. I'm going to say I mean, Unfair Stamp's very good. Prime Catcher's also very good.
Yeah, I feel like the safest is one of those two.
Gotta pick something different for the content.
Yeah, I mean, all right.
What happened to Super Cyclone, Super Scoop Up that y'all like so
I
much?
mean, I do like it. It's a good card, but I think it's only played in Pulse. I don't think anyone else is going to play it. And I'm not sure in my testing if Dragapult's going to win.
Probably
Um,
play it in Greninja if that's gonna be a deck.
yeah, true. They play that. Um, I'm just gonna say Prime Catcher. I can't not
It's
choose
good.
it.
It's a good guess.
Yeah, I can't. I can't not choose it.
Still on the board, you got to pick Prime Catcher.
My rogue pick would be the box,
Get the box out of
bro.
here,
I'm
bro.
telling you, a Lugia deck with box could just like
Uh,
turn one, discard all three Archeops, go get whatever the
yeah,
heck
but
I
how are you
want.
getting to box?
You draw into it, duh.
Okay, yeah, just draw into it. Yep. I mean, to be fair, everyone who's ever won a tournament has just drawn into the cards they needed when they need them to
That's
some
right.
extent.
That's right.
So,
Well, that concludes our Ace Spec discussion. Let's jump in. We got one last topic to discuss here, and that is the international championships that are coming up in New Orleans. Just kind of want to run through our recent experiences and give people a sense of what to expect as they go to an international championship. You got a lot of competitors this season that have gone to their first regional, and now they'll be going to their first international championships, which is a huge deal. We did that last season, so we got some experience. Maddox, you want to go first with kind of what can people expect as they go to an international championship and what's different? What's the biggest thing that's different for you between an international and a regional championship?
yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing that, you take away as a whole is just the full like production into the tournament, right? You maybe you've been to regional before, or and especially if you've been to just your local game store, right? You go to a regional, it's kind of that larger, right? There's some, stream stages set up, there's some vendors, there's some more tables, things like that. When you go to an international championship, it is like the full shebang, right? I mean, you have interactive areas for games. You have banners from the ceilings of all of your favorite Pokemon. You have massive stages and massive, audience sections, right? I mean, yeah, I mean, jump right in, Parker. I mean, like
I was gonna say
it's
it's
a
like
sight.
movie theater sized.
Yeah, I mean the way that you can view and all the screens and just the level of production and the attention to everything. I mean it's hard to say until you see a picture of it, but just the scale of how many more people will be there, how much more there is to do there, and the, higher quality production value of it, it's awesome. And if you ever have a chance to go, highly recommend it.
Thanks, Max. Parker, what about you? What are your thoughts on what's different between a regional and international championship?
It's just kind of like a super regional. So like when I went to NAIC last year, I think that was actually my first IC. I think it was, or maybe it wasn't Nats anymore. But I was blown away. Like right when we walked into the event hall, it's like big red carpet. There's like
Mhm.
cutouts of like the characters, and then big like sitting area with like the beanbag, the lifeguard chair. Like like there's just a bunch of activities, a bunch of stuff to go see. They got like a huge prize wall. They had that big portal thing you go take the
Yeah,
picture
yeah.
in. They had like previews of the next game. They had like there's just so much that like went into it, and I was like very impressed by like the whole scale of it and everything.
Yeah, I'll echo both their sentiments, and I'll kind of talk about more about what to expect from a schedule standpoint and what you should kind of plan for. So on the tournament starts on a Friday. Most regional championships start on a Saturday, but for an international championship, it starts on a Friday. So don't get in too late Thursday because you want to kind of get checked in on Thursday. Make your way over to the Pokemon Center shop. They do a every international championship usually does a pop-up shop, and they've got really awesome exclusive merchandise. I'm wearing one of the shirts from this year that Maddox was kind enough to get me from when he got in, and I see Parker has the hat on.
Yeah,
So really,
Maddox.
yeah,
I was gonna say Maddox came to
yeah.
the hospital to
Dressed.
personally
Yo, what are you
deliver
wearing?
us
I'm
to
wearing
me.
Maddox today.
I'm wearing Maddox, yes. And I got this hat in the European International Championships.
Competitor
This
kit.
is competitor kit. So you'll get a nice little competitor kit if you are competing. So that's Thursday, and then arrive early Friday. So the venue itself is not open on Thursday. Only the outside check-in vendors, because all the vendors looks like they're going to be outside on the second floor, based off of what I saw today. Arrive early. You want to get there and kind of take it in before, because you're going to have some emotions. You're going to be excited. So you want to be able to kind of go and look around and relax before round one. So that's Friday. And what's good and bad, because it starts on a Friday, if you don't make day two, you've got Saturday and Sunday to explore the city, hang out there. One of my favorite things about internationals and worlds is meeting people from different regions, and just sitting down playing a game of Pokemon versus somebody who doesn't speak my language, but they speak Pokemon cards. They speak the game, and I really love kind of learning from people, and their culture. I've been to, this will be my fifth IC. Yeah, this will be my fifth international championship in 2 seasons. I'm very sad there's no Oceania championship anymore, because I wanted to go to Australia. Hopefully they bring that back to give me a reason to go to Australia. But yeah, I think those are the biggest things. Hang out Saturday, hang out Sunday, play some Pokemon card games with people you don't know. Just walk around with a deck, whether it be standard or GLC or Epic Splash, or find us in the corner, splashing around. Whatever it is, come hang out, because it's just so much fun. There's a lot of people there, and it's just a celebration of Pokemon. And it's the last tournament for the season. Um, Anything else to add that I missed, guys?
Yeah, I just want to add, again, the reason it's a 3-day tournament is that on Sunday they do final Sunday. So they
Yeah.
stream all the finals for all the different games, and none of them are overlapping. So if you're just a fan of Pokemon in general, you can go and watch Pokemon Go finals in all three divisions, Pokemon TCG in all three divisions, and Pokemon video game
Unite
in all three
and
divisions, right?
Unite.
Unite on
yeah.
Saturday. Yeah,
Unite
and
on
Pokemon
Saturday is so
Unite
much
is
fun.
very, very fun. So just so much to see and do. And again, you have that time to relax and enjoy the venue and just be a spectator, and really just so much was about being a fan of the game, right? We all love Pokemon so much. It's great to be in a spot where there's so many other super fans of Pokemon like we are, and you get to enjoy all the great things that Pokemon has given so many people, and that we enjoy ourselves. So
Yeah.
it's a really great time. See the opening and closing ceremonies where they always have excitement to hype you up and get you excited to play more Pokemon.
Yep. Anything to add, Parker?
No, that pretty much covered it. I was about to jump in and say they have Unite, which at regionals they don't, but
Yeah. I mean,
it's
talk about it a little bit
definitely.
more. I mean, most people don't know what Pokemon Unite is. What is it? Kind of what are these players battling for? Do you know?
I don't remember the prizing, but basically, I think top four get invites to Worlds or something like that. There it's basically a Pokemon MOBA. So if you've played Heroes of the Storm or League of Legends, it's similar to that. Basically uh, it's a map, and there's events that pop up, and you get points for you know beating the thing and taking it to a in this game it's like a hoop you
Yeah, and a
Score
Rayquaza
score.
shows
points in,
up.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and they have the bosses change and stuff like that. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
And as a
Definitely fun to
yeah.
watch.
Yeah, as a spectator, right? There's
Hype.
timed events, and the last 2 minutes, oh, the big boss Pokemon showed up, which team's gonna get it, and you see them fighting, and okay, which one's gonna live, which one's gonna get knocked out, and then that excitement was oh, you've seen them before. It's someone's running to the goal with points, will they make it in time, right? And it's all in this 10-minute condensed just hype and excitement. So if whether you're enjoying international championship from home or there, definitely recommend checking out some Pokemon Unite. After of course you're watching some of the Beach Court podcast folks on stream and the TCG stream.
Definitely. Yes, sir. Okay, that's gonna wrap it up for this episode. We have one important announcement for everyone here. The Beach Court podcast is collaborating with the Wokey Pokey store in St. Augustine, Florida, to bring you a $600 jam tournament to prepare for the North American International Championships. This
Yes,
tournament's
you are
going to be
playing.
a lot of fun. If you want to play in this tournament, make sure that you check our Twitter post out that we'll have out on Thursday as soon as this episode is released. Quick summary of the details. June 1st, Saturday, June 1st, the tournament is in St. Augustine, Florida. It starts at 1 o'clock p.m., but registration will end at 12:30 p.m. So please be on time so that we can start on time. The entry fee is $20. 75% of that entry fee will go to the prize pool to be paid out to the top 8 competitors, which will be cut to standings. No top cut will be played out. The format of the tournament will be Twilight Masquerade. That set will be legal. You are allowed to use proxies as long as they are printed with English text, and it is a best of 3 50 minutes format. We're really trying to get you ready for North American International Championships. As far as the prizing, I already mentioned that 75% of the prize will be paid out in top 8. You'll also get a Series 4 play pack just for entering into the tournament. And for those of you that haven't been to Wokey Pokey before, they are generous enough to bring us food every tournament. So they will also have food included. It is an awesome inclusion. Registration is limited to 40 players. So pre-register. You can do that by emailing wokeypokey904@gmail.com, or you can call the store at 904-342-5540. I hope to see you there. I will have our Beach Court Podcast playmats for sale there if you want to support the podcast. So really hoping to see everybody out at the Wokey Pokey so that I can test out our NAIC cooked up list against you. And we can kind of put that Lugia with the box into top 8.
Yeah, come on out. Wokey Pokey's a great store.
Yeah.
Especially, we got a lot of listeners all across Florida. Come on out, make a weekend of it. Come and play in the tournament. Go hang out in St. Augustine for the night. It's a great time. We'd love to see you there.
Need a couch to crash on? Let me know. We got you. Come have some fun. We'll test before and even Saturday if you want to test somewhere. Just hit us up. We're more than happy to play some games. You guys got anything else to add before we put a wrap on the podcast?
Our next episode.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh, you have the notes.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Sure. So our next episode is going to be on June 3rd. It will be a couple of days early because we will be traveling on Thursday for the North American International Championship. So we will dive completely into the metagame for NAIC, focus all of our discussion on that. We may focus a little bit on kind of the LA regionals, if anything spicy happens between then and now. We'll focus on kind of online meta, and we'll dive deep into all of that and kind of just get you ready for the international championships. But our next episode will come out 3 days early on Monday of that week on June 3rd.
Yep, early enough for you to get your final prep ready. We'll be gearing you up. We'll have our tier list all ready to go, and yeah, all set for you to win the event.
Yep. Parker, are you coming with us to win NAIC this year?
I am not, sadly. I was in the hospital when registration went up, and it slipped my mind until like 7:10 when I saw the group chat blowing up, and I was like,
no.
"Oh,
that's okay.
Yeah.
You're gonna show up, ready for the first regional next year, and you're gonna win it. I already know.
exactly."
Let's go.
I already know. Anyways, that's all we got for this week. Thank you for listening to the Beach Court Podcast. We appreciate all your support, and we'll see you again on June 1st. Have a nice weekend, y'all.
See ya.